John Mason has been an executive coach and founder of Masters of the Journey. It's a non-religious community to bring people together for consciousness development and enhancing spiritual awareness. In this presentation, John explores the need for human connection and challenges you with what you can do to start the process of supporting people through connecting. Presenting No Man is an Island, it's about connecting. Please welcome up John Mason.
Let me tell you about the genesis of this talk. About a week ago, I wanted to go out and get some exercise. It was a nice, cold, clear, dry day. I went to the lake that is very near my house, and I was walking around the lake. Knowing me, I was oppositional. I was walking counterclockwise. I encountered people that were walking the other way. You'd stop and see them. You could see them coming in the distance. Some were walking dogs. Some were walking by themselves. Some were walking with children or couples. Some people were jogging. I got about a third of the way around the lake and I realized that I wanted to make eye contact and connect with the people that I passed. And what they got in return was they got me smiling and saying hi. Probably less than half the people would make eye contact with me. What was that about? As I passed them on the left, they would look down and to the right. They didn't make eye contact. Probably more than half of those people who didn't make eye contact had earbuds in. What were they doing? Were they listening to music? Were they listening to a lecture? They were not even connecting with nature. The people that didn't look at me, they weren't looking at trees or birds or the beautiful lake. They were looking down and away. I couldn't figure that out. It made me feel lonely. It made me feel like I wasn't a part of the world. So let me tell you something. I titled the speech, No Man is an Island, because I thought of this poem. A man by the name of John Donne wrote this poem. He was a poet and a theologian. He wrote this in 1624. So this has got some mileage on it. And there are two lines in this poem that are famous, that you've heard over and over again. What he was speaking about is, no man is, and most of the people here have this poem, no man is an island unto himself. And what he's talking about is that we are all a part of a much larger humanity. We are all connected. As he goes through this, he says that anyone who was lost, either to death, which he was speaking about, or to connection, is felt by him. It was his loss. It was a piece of him that would be missing. I took this for tonight's speech because instead of death, I put connection. And at the end of this, you can change the word if you want. Any man's death, or the loss of connection, diminishes me because I am involved in mankind. And therefore, send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. My interpretation is, when we lose connection, it's not the person who's gone that's the problem. It's our own loss. It's our own vacuum. So let me give you just a brief history of human beings and humankind and human development. Back thousands of years ago, when we came out of the troops, out of the trees, and we started walking around, we were in groups. Human beings, as we developed, needed to work in a group because they weren't the fastest and they weren't the strongest. We were the smartest. We developed skills at communication. That was why we could evolve. We needed to work in a group for survival. We needed to work as a group. We needed to connect for hunting, for protection, later for farming, for agriculture. What happened in those groups was very interesting. Everyone had their role. Everyone was a part of the team. Everybody was well respected. They even respected old people. The old people had the stories, they had the experiences, they had the wisdom that was carried down. They were a part of every ceremony, a major part of the development of all young people. There was also, and I bring this up just to show you how different it is from the world we live in. If a person was talking to themselves and living in two different worlds, in our world we would call them schizophrenic. In many of these tribes, they were respected as if they were the oracles that had one foot in both places and could be the messengers of the gods. It was a different way of looking at each individual and their role. Putting that aside, in the past 100 years, our culture has changed. 100 years ago, you saw the family units, the clans, the tribes of people still in existence. You saw older people and aunts and uncles living within a family unit, all caring for one another. And if they weren't living together, they were at least in the neighborhood. They lived near one another. What's happened in the last 100 years? People have moved. They've separated. They're living worlds that are now based a lot by the technology that we used. Television came in the 50s and the 60s. We began to stay home. We began to not communicate, not even with the people in our own house. We began to look at the box in front of us. Something was lost. Now we have technology where social skills, in the last 50 years, social skills are being diminished because we don't even have a chance to talk with one another. Why does some of that happen? I think fear gets in the way. If we see somebody who is unusual, abnormal, disabled, sometimes we have a fear and we back away and we don't connect because, I don't know, we don't know how to handle it, or we fear that that could be something that was going to happen to us, and that would not be a good thing. So we don't handle that well. Our challenge is to find ways where we can reverse that trend, where we can reach out and really connect with people, where we can touch people's lives and let them touch us. The first thing is to just be aware of that. And the second thing is to be specifically and generous with the way you go about talking to the people that are marginalized in our society. The disabled people, older people, minorities, children, parents with children sometimes are feeling lonely. If we know people that are lonely, we need to reach out to them. We need to make an effort to connect. And my challenge to you is that we find a way of touching the people that we come in contact with. They're beautiful souls. They are the divinity. We need to make eye contact with them and look into their souls. Know that they're struggling with their challenges and their lessons just as we are. And then we need to greet them with a warm smile, as if you were welcoming a new child into your family. With that kind of love, I think we can begin to reverse this. Just be aware of it. The awareness is half the battle. And I just want to remind you that no man is an island. And we can really benefit our whole culture, our whole society, by making the eye contact and just offering a simple smile. Thank you.